Welcome to For the Record. I'm Naomi Coles. For more than a decade, Kelli Thompson has led the state public defender's office in Wisconsin, a tenure that is coming to a close after she tendered her resignation last week. The State Bar of Wisconsin calls it a real loss for the state, the public, and the legal community. Thompson joins me now. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, 12 years. Why step down now? What prompted this?
So, and I've been in the agency much longer than that, but heading the agency now for, as you mentioned, over a decade, there's never the right time. And I have told many people, if it were up to me, I could stay in this position forever. I love the work. I'm not, as people ask, burnt out or tired of it. I love my clients. I love my colleagues. I love the space that I'm able to work in. But at some point, you have to start to look ahead, and I never want to be in a position where I haven't given other people an opportunity to grow and lead. None of us are irreplaceable, and so it seemed after this budget, we had a wonderful budget. We had a very supportive governor for our budget. We had a very supportive legislature, joint finance. We had a unanimous vote. Republicans were extraordinarily positive. Democrats were extraordinarily positive. I've always said the criminal justice system should not be partisan. My issues should not be partisan or political, and I think that was really that was shown through the budget. And so when we were done, I started to think about the next budget, the next step. We have to start our budget process early because of the way that we work with the board. And I thought maybe it's time to give somebody else an opportunity to bring in change, leadership. And so I did not leave for another job opportunity. That wasn't the case. I wasn't leaving because of something, that I thought was better. And I've said every other minute I regret the decision, but ultimately I think it's the right one.
So do you have an idea of what you might want to do next? Are you going to take 6 months, a year off?
I'm not going to take any time off. That would not be a financially good idea for me.
So you do know where you're going?
I don't.
Okay.
I have to start to figure that out.
Okay.
So, this space is really important to me, so I want to continue to have a voice and to continue to do something in this area if possible, at least in some aspect. I'm not sure if it'll be career-wise or other, but I now really have to focus on that part. That is, that was a difficult decision, too, to leave without having the next thing lined up.
Sure.
It was the right decision. We've really worked hard on recruiting and retaining staff. And the last thing I wanted to do is say, hey, I really want you to be here, but I'm going to leave. That was never the case. So now it's time for me to start to focus on next steps.
I know everyone is asking you this question as a daughter of a career politician, Tommy Thompson. Are you thinking about public office?
I would never say never. I think that's important, but at this point, that is not the reason I left. I did not leave because I'm planning to run for office. But again, it's like anything else. I'm not ruling out anything at this point in time.
Okay. Let's talk highlights. You've led the agency for 12 years. What are you proudest of?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm always going to be proudest of the work that I've done on behalf of individual clients, and I continue to take cases, and that has been part of the reason that the timing seems right now. I spend most of my time up in Green Bay and Shawano, in Brown County and Shawano County, because there are so many cases that need attention. So, and I'm going to continue to do that in some respect. But it's the individual client work. On a policy level, the fact that we have been able to really accomplish, I think, as a team. So it's never about one person. This is team. A team aspect is, as a team, we've been able, I think, to really talk with policymakers, legislators, individuals who can really make a difference in this area about the critical importance of public defense, the critical importance of indigent defense, and the critical importance of how individuals need a voice in our criminal justice system, and how our criminal justice system or our justice system really needs to be balanced with resources. It's public defenders, it's prosecutors, it's the defense attorneys, it's the judges. And it needs to be balanced, or the system is not effective. It doesn't work. And I think my hope is that I've been able to really humanize our clients. Sometimes, especially when you hear of the volume going through the justice system, people tend to forget that these are moms and dads. These are, children of someone. These are aunts and uncles, sisters and brothers. These are real people that in one day you can see in the grocery store or on the streets, and that we have to recognize that we can't lose that human side of it. And in the justice system, it can be hard because, again, we just see so many people coming through. My clients struggle with so many issues. Sometimes it's just a bad decision. They made a decision that was not the one that they should have made. But so many of my clients have lived lives of trauma. They don't really live, they survive. They have significant health care issues, drug addiction issues, mental health issues. And again, it comes to survival. So I think when you are able to talk about this with other policymakers, with other people that you can influence, I think is really, it's been a privilege. And I get to work with some of the most fantastic, mission-driven people that I could ever be privileged to work with. These are public defenders across the state. They work days, nights, weekends. They are in the jails, they're in the prisons, they're talking with their clients about everything everything to do with their cases, but their lives. And I get to work beside these people, and I don't want to stop that.
Absolutely. One thing that we've talked about a lot, and something that I've worked with your office on and reporting on, is just the shortage in public defenders, an issue that you've no doubt struggled with for a lot of your tenure, or at least a significant part of your tenure leading the agency. Are we any better off right now? Are caseloads coming down?
Caseloads are not coming down, but I think what we are seeing is, because of this budget, we have real hope. And again, it's the public defenders, but we work as a coalition, so it's public defenders, prosecutors, the courts, the Attorney General's office, and really the counties association, other big organizations that really see the necessity of having qualified, really zealous advocates in the criminal justice system on both the prosecution and the public defense side, or the defense side. And this budget really, I think, recognized the value. And again, it really put politics aside. And I think, as we talk, especially in partisan, a lot of partisan politics today, that was set aside in our budget, and we were able to increase salaries for attorneys. And again, it's the same, public defenders and prosecutors are the same, so that makes it, a balanced system. We raised the starting salary for new public defenders and prosecutors coming in. We raised the rate of private attorneys who take our conflict and our overflow cases up from, it was $40 not too long ago, it went up to $70, and then 3 months before, then COVID hit, and then up to $100. And so we're equal now with what the counties pay for cases. And that's significant. It's still below market rate, but it speaks to individuals saying, from very important, influential people, from the executive branch to the legislative branch to the courts, that we value you. We know this work is important, and so that is a really important message. And so my hope is to get individuals to continue to come in and to stay. We work really closely with the law schools, but there is a national trend, and my concern is that we don't have enough people going into what I consider public service, but mission-driven work. This is mission-driven work. You're never going to get rich. That's not going to happen. You're going to work really long hours, but you get to make such a difference in an individual's life, in a family's life, in a community. And so we need to keep talking about just how important and how valuable these individuals are that do this work. And so that's a message that can't just be from me, that has to be from so many people, and people are hearing that, which I think is really important.
Absolutely. If I could leave you with one question, or wrap this up with one
Sure.
question, what would be the advice that you would leave your successor?
Continue to talk to everyone. It starts with the client and their families. Make sure that their voices are heard when you're making decisions, policy, but talk to policy makers. Don't assume that people understand the system. You need to continue to work with people. There is no one group that you shouldn't be working with. There are people that may not agree with you, and I'm okay with people not agreeing with you, as long as we can come to the table and have those differences. But this is a conversation that can't just stay in the legal field. These are people's constitutional rights. These are people's liberty interests. These are people's due process rights. These are important to every single person. And so we have to talk about that. Wisconsin has a reputation nationally of really coming together on justice, public defense, indigent defense issues, and we need to continue to raise that bar. So we need to look for partners that we wouldn't necessarily consider partners. We work with the Badgett Institute out of Milwaukee that deal with a lot of policy issues, and they have taken this issue and run with it because this impacts all of us. It impacts all of us. And at the end of the day, most important, my clients that are sitting in jails, sitting in cages in prisons are real people. And we can never, ever lose sight of that. And we have to keep talking about that. That's so, so important. So it is, again, continuing those conversations, reach out to everyone.
Absolutely. Kelli Thompson, thank you so much for joining this show.
I really appreciate it, Nima. Thank you.
Your last day?
October 9th.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will be right back.